This video's for grown-ups, so all yins nebby kids go watch Ryan's World or something. Welcome to Daddy J's Toy Box. Hello everybody, I'm Daddy J and this is Daddy J's Toy Box. And it has been a minute since I've posted a video on here. I've been pretty busy the last couple months. I've been on vacation, I wrecked my car, I got engaged to a beautiful young lady. Hi, Ashley. But most of all, like everyone else, I've been working. And that takes up a lot of the time I'd like to be doing other things, like making these videos. But unfortunately, money's a thing, and we all need it. And nowadays, we need more than ever, because inflation's going up. And the prices of all the things we want and need are rising. $26 for a Doctor Strange figure, that's ridiculous.
Dad.
Oh, here, give that to the cashier, tell her we're on pump 3.
$5? Where do you plan on driving to with this? Pump 4?
So in order to combat these rising costs, a lot of us are working harder and tightening our belts, so to speak. So that doesn't mean I've stopped collecting action figures, but I've had to scale back. A lot of us have. So I'm buying less and trying to find new ways to save money.
Can I have money for new shoes?
Why?
These have holes in them.
There you go. Still, with toy prices rising and so many companies putting out so many figures, it's impossible to keep up. And on top of that, once you decide to drop money on a figure, good luck finding it at retail price. Supply shortages, low production runs, and multiple store exclusives have created this wonderland for scalpers where most of the time, the first case of a wave that comes into a store is the only case. That's frustrating. And it makes collecting not as fun. Recently though, a company that I never expected to be talking about on this channel came out with an action figure line that is fun, engaging, creative, and best of all, cheap and available. That company is the king of all things cheap, Dollar Tree. This is Final Faction. Now these were originally released in late 2020, early 2021, and the line introduces two opposing signs fighting in the year 2050 for the control of Earth. On the good side, we have Alpha Team 1, and on the bad side, we have the Karn. Each side also has 3 accessory packs that you can buy to add tech, firepower, and melee weapons to the standard figure. So to say that I'm impressed with the quality of these figures is an understatement. They're designed well, the plastic's decent, they come with a few accessories each, they have pretty good paintwork, and the fact that they have paintwork at all at this price point is staggering. And they come on these fully colored, printed on both sides card backs with cross-sell and a character bio. So that alone bumps them up in my estimation as a legitimate collector's line. Now you might say to me, bargain figures have been around forever, what about the core? And I would say, fair point. But this line has something that Core didn't have, and that is its own animated show. It's only 2 episodes, and they're found on the Final Faction YouTube page. Now, it isn't really good, but it isn't really bad either, and I think that makes it a perfect reflection of this toy line. I'll include a link for it in the description below. Give it a watch. It's pretty funny and corny, but what it really does is sets up the characters, tells you the plot, and gives you the conflict going forward. And that's really all any cartoon series does for the toy that it advertises. And again, I hate to belabor the point, but the fact that it exists for this toy line is astounding. So I've said a lot about price, but the real beauty of this line is availability, the enemy of all scalpers. That's not to say people aren't trying, though. I've seen these things listed on eBay for over $10, which, quite frankly, amazes me because these things are not hard to get for $1. Well, $1.25 nowadays. Dollar Tree does frequent restocks, and if you tried a little bit, you could have this entire line in pretty short order. And that is what makes this line special to me. It takes me back to a time when I was a kid collecting, and the toy aisle wasn't just a collection of empty pegs. Sure, you might have to search through a bunch of the guys you already had or didn't want to find the one you needed, but at least you had a reasonable hope of somehow reaching behind that sea of peg warmers and pulling out that one figure that you needed. That is an awesome feeling, and that's what makes collecting so satisfying. To me, at least. Well, I've done enough gum flapping about these figures. Let's take a look at them and see what you can get for $1.25 nowadays. Let's bust them out and see what they're all about. Alright, let's start off our look at the packaging with Sergeant Steadfast here. Looks pretty good on the card. He's got his helmet and his gun here. Name down at the bottom. On the back, I'm going to go over a few things on here, then I'm going to go on every figure, so I don't have to go through them all again. But here's his bio, if you want to read that. Here is the cross-sell across the bottom. It shows the other figures in the line. And the QR code, which will show you the Final Faction cartoon on YouTube, which, like I said, is kind of cool to watch. So take a look at that. It's pretty neat. Overall, really good packaging. Very colorful. Very nice, especially for a dollar store figure. Looks really good displayed in the package like this. So let's take a look at the other figures in the line. Alright, here we have Specialist Shift of Alpha Team, coming with the swords here like this in the package. Name and everything on the bottom. On the back, same deal. Here is her bio if you want to look at it. Same cross-sell and same scanning QR code right there. So that's Shift. This is Ruck. He is the heavy specialist, Sergeant Ruck, heavy arms specialist. Looks pretty good. Same colorful artwork style. Looks pretty nice. He's got his gun and his, I guess this is like a, I don't know, fuel tank or something. I don't know. Backpack. Well, doesn't really say. Kind of cool looking. He's got a little visor there. And here's his bio. Pretty cool. Specializes in ground artillery. And then this is Steel. He is the flight specialist. Looking pretty cool. Little Falcon-like Sergeant Steel. There's a lot of sergeants in Alpha Team 1. But he looks pretty good. Let's see look at his bio here. Yeah, boy in the warm plains of Africa. Steel dreamed of soaring like a bird. So now he wears these big metal wings. So, pretty cool. And then this is the, what seems to be the most sought after figure in the group, is the ACRM. Looking very Gundam-like. Very cool in this packaging. Augmented Combat Rescue Mech. Very cool. Here's his little bio on the back here. Right there for you. Looks pretty cool. And that is all of Alpha Team 1. So let's take a look at the packaging for the card. Looks pretty good on the bubble here. They went with a purple color scheme on the aliens to kind of differentiate them from the main heroes. This is the Hive class drone. Very scary looking. On the back, same sell-through, only in purple. And here's his little bio right here. There you go. Looking pretty neat. These are great for army building. Like, you can buy a million of these and just have a little army attacking your guys. And at $1, very easy to do. Okay, and here is the Brute. This is the bigger of the alien species, I guess. Also good for army building. Very craggy face. Reminds me of the rock giant from Neverending Story. Very neat looking, cool looking gun there. Here's his bio. Very cool. And there you go on that. And then we've got my favorite, the Synthoid. And then this little markup on the side here that has interchangeable arms in its own weapons pack. Name down at the bottom, Hive class Synthoid. This thing looks so cool. It's like a cross between a jet engine and a manta ray. So neat looking. Very weird, but very cool. I like these a lot. Let's take a look at his bio on the back here. Cool. Looks like he shoots something out of that thing on his section. There's like a hole on his face there. So I don't know how that works, but they look very cool. All his eyes are neat. So that's the corn. So that's all the figures in the packaging. Let's do some plastic extraction and see what these figures look like up close. Alright, so let's start off by taking a look at Master Sergeant Steadfast. He is the leader of Alpha Team 1 of Final Faction, and he is a little familiar looking. He's kind of like me. It's a little strange. But these figures are well sculpted. There's not a lot of great detail, but there is some interesting detail. His elbow pads and his shoulder pads. He's got his robotic arm here. Interesting sculpting on that. It's kind of a scar on his cheek here. I don't know if that's a scar or a flaw in the mold, but still, I think it looks pretty cool. A little bit of dry brushing on his chest here to kind of give him a little depth. And then he has some accessories to round him out a little bit here. He's got this helmet, pretty cool looking, with this little silver visor. And that can go right on his head there like that. Make him look like he's a little more battle ready. And then he has this big alien shooting gun right there. So that looks pretty cool. A couple of features I'll go over with Master Sergeant Steadfast here that apply to really all the figures, so I won't need to go over it with all of them, is he's got 5 points of articulation, standard 5-point vintage articulation like Star Wars and retro figures. Just kind of turns the head to this side about that far. His shoulders can do full 360 spin, and the legs go up to about that high. That's pretty standard for these kind of figures. He, like most of the other figures, also has these little holes, which have weapons, accessories that can fit in there from other weapons packs and other figures, kind of give the line a little bit more variety with what you can do with the weapons on them. And they all have trigger fingers right here, like that, so that they can hold the guns. If you take the gun right there, and you put it in his hand and rotate his gun into the trigger finger, he holds it very well, very sturdy. And then you can, well, he needs a little bit of counterbalancing here because that gun's pretty heavy, but he can hold it very well. Put that helmet on him, get him all suited up and ready to fight the Karn. So there he is. That's Master Sergeant Steadfast. Alright, so this is the team's weapon specialist, Shift. She is the team's only female member, or at least so far. Looking pretty cool in her red and black outfit here with her green gloves. I like her outfit. I would like to see it painted onto the back of her body a little bit better, because it is not. So that is a weird cost-cutting, I'm assuming, tactic, but it makes it look a little strange if you've got her without the backpack. But sculpt-wise, really good sculpt. Looks pretty good. I got pretty good eyes and eyebrows on mine, but if you're looking at these in the toy aisle at Dollar General, you might want to look around a little bit, because some of them had some eyebrows up on the foreheads and stuff, so it's a little strange. She has this long black hair, which kind of interferes with her weapons, actually, which are these swords right here that have a little backpack for her to wear them on her back. They go right into this port right here. See it underneath her hair, but the hair makes it a little bit difficult to put them on her, so we gotta kind of put them on there like that, and then kind of twist her head and the swords at the same time, just to kind of get them on there. There you go. Okay, so there, she can wear them on her back like that, and the swords do come out of the scabbards, and even though she has the trigger fingers, she can hold the swords fairly well. It doesn't grip them as well as the figures grip the guns, but still does a pretty good job. So she looks pretty cool there with her little swords. All in all, pretty sweet figure. I like it. Okay, so here we have Sergeant Ruck, heavy combat specialist. He has many of these ports I was talking about here on his arms, here on his back, on his feet here, and all over the place. To put more weapons, because he is a weapons specialist, and as such he comes with this neat shoulder-mounted, I guess, ray gun that just ports right into this little hole right here, and then it can be lowered into position where I guess he uses this kind of visor he's got on his face as a targeting system. Great sculpt on this guy. He's got some green metallic paint to give him a little bit of depth on his chest, a little bit of green shoulders, or his forearms and his legs here to just kind of really give this design some, life. It looks great. And he's got this little backpack here that I guess is like a power source for the gun. Just clips right into his back like that. And there you go. Pretty neat. Okay, and this is Ruck's best friend, Steel, who has flight combat training specialty. He looks really cool here. He's got some neat paint going on with this like silver dry brushing over top of this blue. Really makes his costume pop. I think he kind of looks like A-Train from The Boys with this color scheme and the glasses and everything, but really neat looking design. And then he's got the same problem Shift does apparently with these. He's got these brown straps that don't get painted on the back of the figure. But it doesn't really make much of a difference because his little accessory here is this flight pack, which attaches right here to his back and kind of covers up the straps anyway. So you don't really notice, but just plug it right in there like that. He's got these guns kind of coming off the top there, I guess, so he can dive bomb and do some, shooting. And then he's got this air vent here, or exhaust port. So all the figures also, I forgot to mention, have these holes on the bottom of their feet for future vehicles and playsets, I would hope. But yeah, so Steel, there he is. Looks pretty good. Kind of like Falcon a little bit also. But legally distinct. Very important. So very near. And lastly, we have my favorite figure of Alpha Team 1 from Series 1, and this is the ACRM, which stands for Augmented Combat Rescue Mech. Very cool design on this guy. A little bit of silver paint dry brushed over top of him. He's got the blue visor, and then many of these ports for extra weapons. I believe there's an entire weapons pack that is dedicated to just this guy. So, very looking. Not a character story, actually, as much as a kind of Iron Man style robot, but remotely piloted by a young boy in a wheelchair. So that's a cool twist on the story. Hopefully we'll get a figure of him sometime in the future, but until then, the mech is pretty sweet, and apparently that's not just my... So here is Alpha Team 1 all posed together, and they look fantastic. So as we all know, a group of heroes is only as cool as their villains, so let's take a look at the antagonists of this story, the planet-killing Karn. Okay, so first up is the Karn drone. And I gotta tell you, right off the bat, I love the look of these figures. They are so cool. Whatever paint this is, it's like iridescent, kind of a metallic blue over top of the purple on this figure. It just makes it look really alien-like and really creepy. I love it so much. And then he has little red pupils in there, but very cool looking. Look at this guy, muscle striations and little like details in the sculpt. His legs are backwards, like animal legs. Those are really neat looking. Great designs on these. Whoever does the design work for this line, absolutely fantastic, especially for the price. It's amazing to me what they're getting away with here. And then he has this blue I got alien-looking gun here. I've heard these compared to Halo, looking very Halo-esque. I don't play Halo, so I can't really tell you, but they held the gun very well. That's not going anywhere. And he looks like he could definitely cause some problems for Alpha Team 1, so very neat-looking guy. Okay, and here is the Karn Brute. This guy, same thing, very cool. Cool iridescent paint all over him, looking very shiny. Very neat sculpt on these guys. Very kind of insect looking with all these little ridges and plates. And he's got this real, oh, he's beautiful. He's got a face only a mother could love right there. Look at that guy. Yeah, very creepy. Taller than a lot of the figures. Very big compared especially to like, let's take a look at Sergeant Steadfast here. He's, this guy really kind of towers over him. So, very neat, making the bad guys a little bit more imposing than the heroes, makes the heroes more heroic, as they say. So, he's got this weird blade gun here. I don't know if it's a gun or if it's like a big knife. These guys are pretty big, though. I don't know that they need guns. They're just kind of come over and stomp you. But, let's see if we can get it in his hand. Oh, boy. Not really easy to hold the gun here. Maybe this hand. Finagle it in there. There we go. There we go. Okay. So he can hold it. He's got a neat look there. I'm not sure what kind of weapon that is, but pretty cool. Looks good. I like him. Okay, and this is the Karn Synthoid. Now, this is kind of like the mech character for the Synthoids. Very army building kind of thing, very like large, and one of the weapons packs, again, is devoted directly to this character. Actually, I think all of the Karn weapons packs are related to specifically one character or another, because there's only 3. But this figure looks amazing. First of all, I love the design of this. I'm not sure if they were like killer whale, kind of stingray. I don't know. This is a real interesting look for this character. These like bladed arms and stuff, like real creepy, like multiple eyes, and this, I don't know what this is, a mouth or something here. It looks like intake more than anything else, but metallic paint on it, kind of give it a little bit of a pop. I will say that this figure, out of all the figures, feels a little cheap. He feels a little hollow. Probably because he's so big. Honestly, this would be a very heavy figure if this was solid. So I can get it. This guy, his friend, the Brute, is a very solid figure. He's not hollow at all. He's very like thick and heavy. So I can imagine how heavy this would have been if they'd have made it solid plastic. But still very cool. I like the design very much. And it's not like it feels like it's going to fall apart, but it feels a little bit on the lighter side compared to the rest of the figures. So something to think about. But again, these designs, great. Good paintwork. Really cool. So there you have the Ruthless Karn. Alien race bent on taking all the natural resources from Earth and leaving it a barren rock in space. These are amazing. They look fantastic. Standing here beside each other like this, if you have a child that is into this line, they could definitely have a lot of fun army building these and building just a like massive army of these Karn that all look different for just a couple of bucks. So very impressive. Here is the Final Faction steel figure with the typical, what we consider the classic 5 POA figures, Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. Same exact articulation. The plastic doesn't feel like the plastic of the older figures feels a little bit more rubbery, kind of like a softer plastic, while the plastic on the Final Faction figures feels a little bit stiffer. I noticed when I, knock the accessories together, it kind of sounds like checkers, like it's that harder, lighter material. But all in all, the quality is kind of similar. They're not really much different in terms of you don't feel like you're going to break them with you holding onto them. Now this has lasted, 40 years almost. So I mean, it's definitely durable. But I mean, guess time will tell how long these figures last. And if we wanted to look at the Final Faction alongside a more modern 3.75-inch figure, this is Captain America from the Hasbro Marvel. It's still Marvel Legends. I'm not sure why they call it that, because it's definitely a different style figure. But this is what typical 5 POA figures look like these days. Same exact articulation as Steadfast here. Very soft plastic for this guy, almost very rubbery, and even his shield is it's almost made of rubber. So it's a different kind of feel for the plastic and the accessories. But all in all, I mean, they come with the same amount of accessories. They have the same articulation. The difference really is this figure is $1.25 and this figure is $10. If you can make that make sense for me, other than licensing, I'd love to hear an explanation, because it just boggles my mind how Dollar Tree is able to do this. So, if your kid already has a couple of these Marvel Legends figures, and is looking to expand his collection, definitely I would recommend picking up some of these Final Faction figures. And even if you just got the Karn, the aliens, you could really just give Captain America a different kind of enemy to fight. Alright, so this video is already running long. I just wanted to do a quick word about the weapons packs. We got the mech weapons pack, air assault. We have the heavy arms weapons pack. We have the covert ops weapons pack. Those are for Alpha Team 1. And then for the Karn, we have the Synthoid weapons pack. These really just work for the Synthoid. We have the Shock Arms weapons pack. This works with all of the humanoid characters, I guess anything with a hand. And then we have the Quake Arms weapons pack. This only works with the Brute and the Drone. Kind of go over top of their heads. They're more for those figures. These weapon packs are awesome. They add a lot of playability to these figures. They, give you the opportunity to add like a ton of guns and wings and drones and just all kinds of neat stuff to these figures, rocket launchers, just a lot of cool little accessories that, if included with the regular figures, would have brought the price up. So they include them in a weapons pack for an additional $1.25, and then you can, gear up your Alpha Team 1 however you see fit. If you don't want to buy any of them, you don't have to buy any of them, and you can just use the weapons that come with them, and those are sufficient. But if you want to give these guys piles of guns, I know that there's a lot of people that wish Hasbro would do something like this for Marvel Legends, just come out with a few weapons packs with some different weapons that they could use on custom figures, and some of the figures that didn't maybe come with maybe the most accurate guns to the comic book. But bravo to Dollar Tree for adding these weapons packs to give this line a little bit more life and to give these characters a little bit more diversity. Like, you can really, when you army build, you can really make them look all different. One can have this kind of, backpack, this one can have this kind of gun, and you can really make them all look very unique. So, these are really cool. Trophy, trash, or toy box. With as much raving about these things as I've been doing during this video, you might think that I'm going to say that there are trophies, but that's incorrect. These are definitely toy box toys. Now, they're well done. They are, have great paint jobs. They have good diversity of characters. They have interesting designs. They have, with the weapons, they have a massive arsenal of stuff you can do with them. But in the end, they are just toys, and that's okay. That's great, actually. Kids love these things. I mean, my kids play with them all the time. They are take them out and beat them in the sandbox and, lose them in the yard kind of toys. They're not going to be anybody's trophy piece in their collection. But that being said, they are collectible. They do look good displayed in the package. They look good out on the shelf. So, you can definitely collect them, but they are not trophies. They're not trash by any means. They are just something to throw in the old toy box.
Daddy J's Toy Box presents Low Budget Action Figure Theater.
Sir, I'm glad I found you, sir. The Khan are attacking, sir. Oh, Rock, I'm glad you're here. Hey, help me out. What's a 5-letter word for military aggression? Attack? No! Attack has 6 letters. Come on, man. Get it together.
Sir, the car have breached the front gate. Are you guys aware that there's an attack going on?
Well, I tried to tell him, but... Steel, what do you think? 5-letter word for attack.
I don't know, man. Crossword puzzles aren't usually my thing, Ask Shift. I gotta go defend the gate. You guys are coming, right?
Yeah, we'll be right there. So, really, it's very important that... Yeah, I understand. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me figure this out.
Do you boys not know there's an invasion going on?
I'm trying to tell him, but he's so worried about... Yeah, Shift, actually, real quick. What is a 5-letter word for military aggression?
Attack.
No, everybody... It's not attack.
Siege?
Oh, that's a good one. But no, it's not siege. Has to end in a Z.
Sir, I don't have time for... Oh, they base the perimeter.
So we really need to get moving. The base is in great peril. I'm very afraid for what could happen if... Oh no! All these soldiers and nobody knows a 5-letter word for military aggression.
Blitz.
B-L-I-T... Hey, that's it! Hey, thanks a lot, buddy!
No problem.
I don't suppose you know a 5-letter word for discharge a firearm.
As a matter of fact, I do.
So that's my look at the Final Faction Wave from Dollar Tree. You can pick these guys up at Dollar Tree, obviously, and they're $1.25. You can get them online. You can get them in the store. I recommend going out, hunt for them. It's super fun. And, buy the whole set. It's less than $20. Give them to your kids. Let them play with them. Let them break them. Let them bury them in the sand. Let them feed them to the dog. Maybe not feed them to the dog, but they are awesome, and I highly recommend them. So, until next time, I'll see you in the toy aisle.